I was halfway through tying my shoes when I heard the buzz. Her tablet lit up on the dining table. It was just sitting there, next to her smoothie glass, screen facing up like always. I wasn't snooping. I swear to God, I wasn't even looking. But that message popped up clear as day. Can't wait to see you in Denver. Just you, me, and the cabin. Red heart, Chase. I stopped mid-knot. My hands went cold. I read it again, hoping I was wrong. Hoping maybe it was for someone else. But it was her device, her lock screen, her notification bar. And she hadn't even bothered to silence it. 19 years. 19 damn years. And this is how I find out? Through a lazy, unlocked tablet and a flirty message from a guy I'd never heard of? She walked in 2 minutes later, keys in hand, still talking about some fundraiser she was probably going to skip. I just nodded. Numb. She didn't notice anything was off. Gave me the usual peck on the cheek like nothing was different. See you tonight, she said. I watched her walk out the door and get into her car like it was any other day. I sat there in my work clothes, frozen. Every weird moment from the last few months started flashing in my head. The extra long showers. The late client meetings. The yoga retreat she forgot to book, but still packed for. At work, I didn't do a damn thing. My inbox stayed full. My phone rang. I let it. I just kept thinking, how long? How many times had I looked her in the eye while she was texting this guy behind my back? But I didn't freak out. Didn't send a message. Didn't call her out. Instead, I pulled out my phone and took a screenshot of the message, just in case she tried to delete it later. Then I locked her tablet and left it exactly where I found it. At lunch, I sat in my truck with the windows down and started making a list in my notes app. Not of what she did, but of what I was going to do. Step by step. Quietly. No yelling. No drama. Just facts, leverage, and planning. That night, when she got home, I smiled. I asked how her day was. She talked about Pilates and smoothies. I made dinner, but I didn't look her in the eye once. The next morning, I started tracking her movements. Not with some spy gear, just her patterns. Her phone records. Her voice. The way she carried herself when she thought I wasn't paying attention. I kept it quiet. No sudden changes, no raised eyebrows. Just observation. She started working late more often. Twice a week at first. Then 4. Always meetings or last-minute planning with clients I never met. One night, she came home buzzing. Claimed it was from the gym. But she didn't smell like sweat. She smelled like hotel soap. One of those fancy, fruity ones they give you in upscale places. I made a mental note. The name Chase started popping up on her calendar. Appointments that had no details, no locations. Just see. Once, I caught a restaurant receipt in her purse from a place in Boulder we'd never been together. $160 for dinner. 2 entrees. A bottle of wine. Not the kind of meal you eat alone. That same night, she said she grabbed smoothies with Trish. 2 days later, she mentioned they were thinking of a hiking retreat in Colorado. Said it like it was just a passing idea. Then, one night after dinner, she got more specific. Told me she and Trish were definitely going. Girls' weekend. Nature. Spiritual reset. So I called Trish. Casual. Nothing pushy. Hey, you and Sadie heading to Colorado soon? There was a pause. No? I mean, we talked about it months ago, but I'm slammed at work. Why? I told her. Sadie must have been confused. Played it off. But that was the moment I knew. No more wondering. Quickly after that, I started building a folder on my phone. Labeled it taxes. Just in case she ever saw it. Screenshots of her text previews. Hotel reservation confirmations in her email. One from a lodge outside Denver booked under a card we shared. Except I never got the notification. Location data? She'd turned off her sharing with me 2 months ago. That was new. But I remembered she never disabled it on her iPad. When I checked it, I found her appointments all centered around one office park. An address that wasn't work-related. The last time I looked it up, it was a luxury spa. She had a new laugh around me. Too high-pitched, like she was acting in a commercial. The warmth was gone. Every smile felt like a rehearsed scene from a play I didn't audition for. One night, after she worked late, she crawled into bed and kissed my shoulder. Said, "Missed you today." I didn't move. "Busy day?" I asked. "Ugh, yeah." Trish had a meltdown. Total chaos. I nodded. I didn't say a word about Trish texting me an hour earlier from a sushi bar in another city. That's when I called Derek, my cousin on my mom's side. He works in asset management law. Not family law, but sharp with contracts, money, paperwork. Basically the guy you call when you need to move smart, not fast. I didn't tell him everything. Just said, "Hey, hypothetical for you. Let's say someone's spouse is hiding joint assets. What would you ask first?" Derek didn't even blink. Said the first thing you do is lock down your records. Bank statements, deed info, retirement. Then start tracking inconsistencies, because the court won't care about feelings, only proof. He asked if I had a timeline. I told him not yet. I was still gathering. Still playing the dumb husband who believed every lie she told. That weekend, she brought home new hiking boots. Said she and Trish were definitely doing the retreat now. She looked proud, excited even. Asked what I thought. "They look great," I said. "You'll blend right in." She grinned and kissed me. I kissed her back. But in my head, I was already packing her bags. I played the part. Every damn day. Smiled like a fool. Cracked the usual jokes. Even offered to help her shop for her girls' weekend. She talked nonstop about the cabin, the hot tub, the meditation workshops. Like she wasn't sleeping with someone behind my back the whole time. "Oh, we'll be off the grid," she said one night. "Just clean air and nature." I nodded. "Sounds peaceful. You deserve it." Inside, I wanted to throw a chair through the wall. While she was packing trail mix and face masks, I was pulling up every transaction we ever made. Downloaded the last 12 months of our joint account data. Ran keyword searches, hotels, car rentals, out-of-state purchases. I tagged anything she couldn't explain with a yoga mat and essential oils. Then I checked the deed on our house. Pulled up the county records online. And there it was, my name. Just mine. When we refinanced 2 years ago, I never added her back after the paperwork glitch. She never noticed. I called Derek. Told him it was go time. He looped me in with one of his law firm's consultants, a divorce specialist who only works referrals. The guy didn't waste time. Asked for asset lists, logins, income records. Said we needed to freeze before she flees. His words, not mine. I moved fast. Pulled half the liquid savings into a separate account. Froze the credit card she used most often. Claimed there was fraud, which technically wasn't a lie. Shut off automatic bill pay from our joint card and moved the mortgage back to solo payment. I didn't touch her phone or her tablet. Didn't need to. I had the digital paper trail, and I wasn't giving her any reason to get suspicious. She was too wrapped up in packing anyway. 3 days before she left, I found an old hiking backpack in the garage and offered it to her. She hugged me. "You're the best." Seriously. I smiled and said, "Just don't forget sunscreen." The night before her flight, she asked if I could drop her at the airport. Said Trish was catching a different flight from another city. I said of course. That morning, I woke up early, made her coffee, loaded her bags into the lift trunk while she double-checked her travel yoga mat. She stood at the curb looking extra cheerful in her matching fleece set. "You're gonna love it out there," I said. She beamed. "I'm just excited to unplug. I really need this." I pulled her in for a hug. "Enjoy your hike." She kissed my cheek like everything was fine, like she hadn't torched our life and buried the match. The lift pulled away, and I stood there watching the car disappear down the street. She didn't look back once. Back inside, I closed the front door and locked it behind me, not just out of habit. I walked straight to my laptop, opened the secure folder, and double-checked every document I'd prepped. I had legal backups, financial barriers, and a full digital timeline of her cheating. Even screenshots of her and Chase's hotel loyalty accounts showing points earned on the same dates, different rooms, same cities. I didn't miss a detail. She thought I was home mowing the lawn and missing her. What I was really doing was getting ready to bury her in court if it came to that. Her last text before boarding was, "Wheels up. Love you." I didn't reply. She was already gone. By mid-afternoon, I was sitting at my desk with the blinds halfway shut, when my phone buzzed. Her name flashed across the screen with a new message. Just got to the cabin. Beautiful out here. Don't miss me too much, red heart. I stared at it, felt my stomach tighten, then typed back. Tell Chase I hope the fireplace is as romantic as the hotel was last month. My thumb hovered for a split second before hitting send. I tossed the phone on the desk and leaned back in my chair. 10 minutes later, it started ringing. Her name over and over. I let it buzz, let it stop, then start again. Another call, then another. 5 back-to-back. I didn't pick up once. By 6 o'clock, the notifications were stacked higher than I'd ever seen. 42 missed calls. A flood of messages lit the screen. It's not what you think. Please talk to me. I'm coming back. I opened one thread just long enough to watch the typing bubbles pop up and vanish. Then I locked the screen and set it face down. At 7:45, another came through, landing at 10:50 p.m. Please don't leave. I laughed out loud. She couldn't even keep her lies straight long enough to enjoy the trip. I poured myself a bourbon, sat in my recliner, and pulled up the divorce petition on my laptop. I read through it slowly, line by line, making sure every detail was still airtight, every asset frozen, every receipt documented, every piece of evidence cataloged. The calls kept coming. The phone buzzed against the woodside table, rattling like a trapped bug. I didn't touch it, not once. Instead, I texted my lawyer. She knows. Coming back tonight. Petition ready? He replied within 2 minutes. Ready. Don't engage. Let her talk first. So that's what I did. I ignored the noise. I let her stew in her panic while I stayed calm, glass in hand, papers in order. Around 9:30, I walked the house, checked the locks, straightened the stack of envelopes with her name still on them, even set an extra pillow on the couch. Not for her to sleep on, but to remind myself how much space she'd lost in my life. At 10:15, another desperate message popped up. I'll explain everything. Please just wait for me. I didn't answer, just set my drink down and shut the phone off completely. The house went quiet. No buzzing, no interruptions. Just silence. I leaned back, crossed my arms, and let her panic fill the gap between us. Every second she unraveled out there, I grew steadier in here. She thought she could control the narrative, spin it back into some misunderstanding. But I had the facts, and facts don't lie. By the time her plane touched down, I was more ready than I'd ever been. At 11:53 on the dot, headlights swept across the front windows. I pulled the curtain just enough to watch her stumble out of a rideshare. She wasn't glowing like when she left. Her hair was frizzed from the flight, her face pale. She didn't even have her suitcase. Just a carry-on slung over her shoulder like she'd lost a war mid-trip. She still used her key, waltzed in like this was her house. I was waiting in my recliner. The same chair she always complained about, called an eyesore every time she wanted to redecorate. I leaned back with my arms folded, letting her walk straight into the silence. Her eyes darted to me. No. I cut her off. My voice was sharp. You're not going to speak. You're going to listen. She froze in the entryway, clutching the strap of her bag. I laid it all out. Every text I'd screenshotted. Every late meeting that didn't add up. The hotel receipts. The location pings. The credit card charges she thought I wouldn't notice. And the smile she practiced like a mask until it cracked. Her lip trembled. Her eyes started to water. She pressed a hand over her mouth, but the tears slipped out anyway. I didn't flinch. You've got 12 hours to find a place to stay. Not 13. 12. She dropped the bag by the door and stepped toward me. Wait, please. We can fix this. I'll block him. I'll do counseling. Anything. I shook my head. You should have blocked him before buying matching hiking boots. She gasped, like the words hit harder than I meant them to. She knelt beside the chair, grabbing at my arm. I swear it didn't mean what you think it did. It was stupid. I got caught up. I pulled my arm free. You didn't get caught up. You planned it. You lied to my face for months. You let me kiss you goodnight while you were texting him about getaways. She wiped her nose with the back of her hand, desperate now. Please don't throw away 19 years. We have history. We have roots. Doesn't that mean something? I leaned forward, stared her down. It means I wasted 19 years on someone who couldn't tell the truth. She rocked back on her heels, shaking her head fast. No, no, we can come back from this. I'll quit yoga. I'll delete my socials, whatever you want. Just don't end us. I stood up, towering over her. You ended us the second you thought I wouldn't notice. The second you believed I was too stupid or too trusting to catch you. She broke then, her face red, her sobs loud. She crawled to grab the carry-on and dragged it to the couch like she was claiming space. I pointed to the door. That's not your bed anymore. You've got until noon to figure out where you're sleeping tomorrow night. Tonight, you stay out here. Tomorrow, you're gone. She looked up at me, eyes swollen, makeup streaked, hair falling apart. I love you. You know I love you. I walked past her, stopped at the hallway, and said without turning back, love doesn't look like Chase. Then I shut the bedroom door behind me and left her crying in the dark. The next morning, I got up before the sun. She was still passed out on the couch, curled up under a throw blanket like some tragic movie character. I didn't look at her, didn't say a word. I brewed coffee, walked into the home office, and shut the door behind me. Then I pulled up Instagram. I found Chase's wife in under 5 minutes. Her page wasn't private, typical family shots, 2 kids, hiking trips, dentist chair selfies. Dr. Madison Kramer, DDS. I searched her name and found her practice in Fort Collins. I called the office. A receptionist picked up, and I asked for Dr. Kramer. She put me on hold. A minute later, a tight voice answered, "This is Dr. Kramer. Hi. I know this is going to sound insane, but I think your husband is sleeping with my wife. Her name's Sadie." Silence. Then she let out a laugh. One of those awkward, "I don't believe you" laughs. What? I'm serious. I have receipts, hotel stays, texts, a cabin rental in Denver. You can check your shared credit card. Another long pause. Then she said quietly, "Give me a date." Last weekend. Same cabin she told me she was going to for a girls' hiking trip. The confirmation came from Chase's email. I gave her all the details, names, the fake retreat, everything. She barely spoke, just wrote it down. 10 minutes later, I got a text from an unknown number. I found the cabin receipt. I'm shaking. "Thank you." I didn't answer. Didn't need to. She had what she needed. Next, I called Jenna, my wife's sister. They used to be tight. Used to host game nights here with those Pinterest snacks and fake laughs that annoyed the hell out of me. She picked up right away. "Hey, what's going on? Need to tell you something. Sadie's been cheating." Silence. Then, "Wait, what?" "She's been sleeping with a guy named Chase. Married guy. Been going on for a while. She lied about the retreat. It was a weekend away with him." Jenna's voice dropped. "You're kidding. I've got proof. I'm not calling to fight. I just wanted you to know before she starts spinning this whole 'we grew apart' crap." More silence. Then Jenna whispered, "Jesus, I had no idea." She didn't say a word. I heard footsteps behind me, turned just as my wife walked in, face blotchy, hoodie pulled up over her head. She paused in the doorway, eyes locked on me. I didn't stop the call, didn't even lower my voice. No, I'm not giving her another chance. She made her bed, and now she's got to lie in it. Jenna heard it. My wife heard it. I didn't care. She opened her mouth like she wanted to say something, but nothing came out. She just stood there, frozen. I turned my back and finished the call. "Thanks for listening. I figured you deserved the truth." Then I hung up. My wife was still standing there when I walked past her. She didn't follow me, didn't speak. She just stood in that hallway, finally realizing she wasn't the one holding the power anymore. I had just shut the office door behind me when my phone lit up. Colorado area code. Unknown number. I didn't even hesitate. Picked it up and said nothing. "Yeah, what did you say to my wife?" His voice was sharp, pissed, full of heat that wasn't aimed in the right direction. "Is this Chase? You know who it is," he snapped. "What the hell did you tell her?" The truth. Something you've clearly been avoiding. He went quiet for half a second, like he didn't expect me to come in that cold. Then came the excuse flood. Look, it wasn't supposed to be serious. She came on strong. Things just spiraled. I almost laughed. Don't insult both of us. You knew exactly what you were doing. You ruined everything, he barked. My wife won't even look at me. My kids. No, I said, cutting him off. You did that when you touched another man's wife. That was the moment you blew your life up. Not me. He didn't have a comeback. Just heavy breathing like he was pacing. Man, I'm gonna lose everything. Sounds familiar, I said. Welcome to the club. Then I ended the call. No point dragging it out. He wasn't calling to apologize. He just wanted someone else to carry the blame. I barely had time to put my phone down before I heard her behind me again. She was getting real good at ghost walking around this house. He lost everything, she said softly. His kids, his job. His whole life fell apart overnight. I turned around slowly. So did mine. You just never noticed. She flinched like I'd slapped her. She looked different now. Not sad. Not angry. Just empty. Her eyes were dull, her shoulders slumped. The same hoodie from yesterday still clung to her like it was holding her together. She opened her mouth, then stopped herself. Nothing came out. No tears. No lies. No last minute we can still fix this speech. Instead, she walked to the hallway closet, pulled out her bags, and started moving like she'd already packed in her mind. No drama. No begging. She just walked past me with her things in hand. At the door, she paused, fingers shaking around the handle. I didn't say anything. I wasn't giving her a final moment to spin it back in her favor. She opened the door, looked at the driveway like she wasn't sure where she was going next, then stepped out without a word. And just like that, she was gone. 2 days later, I was halfway through reviewing invoices when my assistant knocked on my door. She's here, she whispered. Says it's urgent. I didn't need to ask who. Send her in. She walked in slow, like her feet weighed double. Hoodie again. Hair tied back in a half-assed bun. Eyes swollen. Skin pale like she hadn't eaten or slept. 5 minutes, she said. That's all I'm asking. I leaned back in my chair. Talk. She didn't sit. Just stood there wringing her hands like a damn teenager in trouble with the principal. I made a mistake, she started. I got lost. I felt disconnected. And Chase wasn't the reason, he was just... I held up a hand. You're wasting time. You said 5 minutes. Don't use 2 of them lying. Her chin dropped to her chest. Then she looked up, eyes shining. 19 years. Okay? That's not nothing. I was stupid, I was selfish, but we've been through worse. Please, don't let this be the thing that breaks us. I watched her, let her sit in the silence. She broke first. I'll change everything. I'll quit yoga, block him, cut off anyone you want. I'll go to counseling. You can put a tracker on my phone if it makes you feel better. That part made me laugh. Loud enough to make her flinch. You threw away a 19-year marriage for someone you now claim meant nothing to you? She nodded quickly. He didn't mean anything. He was just attention. I didn't want to leave you. I never planned to. Right? I said. That's why you booked a second trip with him. Had your little mountain getaway on the calendar again next month. When were you going to tell me? Before or after the cabin upgrade? She covered her face with both hands and broke down, shoulders shaking. I opened the drawer, pulled out the file. Your lawyer filed a counterclaim, I said, sliding the papers across the desk. Emotional abandonment. Know what that means? She looked up, blinking. It means you're trying to flip this whole thing on me. Like I'm the one who gave up. Like you didn't leave this marriage piece by piece every time you lied. I didn't file that, she whispered. I didn't even know. Then talk to your lawyer. But it's got your signature on it. She stared at the paper, her bottom lip trembling again. But I was done feeling anything. She finally asked, Is there really no way back from this? I nodded slowly. Yeah, there is no way back. You walked past that exit months ago. She stood there like she was expecting me to break, to soften, but I didn't move. Finally, she turned, wiped her eyes, and walked out without saying another word. She had her hand on the doorknob, halfway out of my office, when she paused. Didn't look back, just stood there like she was debating something. Then she said it. Soft, flat. No emotion, no buildup, just like she was asking if I wanted cream in my coffee. Would it matter if I told you Chase wasn't the first? My jaw locked up. I blinked, slowly. So there were others? She finally turned around, leaned against the door like she suddenly needed the support. Then she shrugged, like it was nothing. Would it even change anything? I stared at her for a beat. Couldn't speak. Couldn't move. My pulse dropped cold in my chest. Yeah, I said. Yeah, it changes everything. She scoffed, like I was being dramatic. Why? You're already done with me. Because now I know I was never married. I was just your placeholder. Her mouth dropped open like I slapped her. That's not fair. No? You stood in vows with me. You made a home with me. Then what? Just slipped off whenever it got boring. She stepped forward, voice rising. You weren't emotionally present the last couple years. You stopped showing up. You buried yourself in work, in bills, in whatever the hell else mattered more than me. I snapped right back. I was busy holding this family up alone, while you were off getting your ego stroked by strangers in hotel rooms. She didn't deny it. That told me more than anything she could have said. Do you want me to list them? She asked, bitter. Would that help you move on faster? No, I said. I don't need the list. Just knowing I wasn't the only one in our marriage is enough. She looked down at her shoes, arms crossed. You're gonna regret walking away. I tilted my head. Not as much as you're gonna regret wasting what we had. She opened the door like she was about to storm out, then paused again. You think this makes you better than me? More righteous or whatever? No, I said. It makes me free. You can keep the guilt. She slammed the door behind her. I sat there for a minute, heart racing, eyes on that door like it might open again. Didn't. Then I picked up the phone and called my lawyer. Soon as she answered, I said, she just admitted Chase wasn't the first. The line went quiet for a beat. Then she asked, how many? No idea. She didn't say, but she admitted it like it was normal, like it didn't matter. Legally, she said, it's irrelevant. Court won't care. Personally, I asked. She didn't hesitate. Personally, it's everything. 6 months later, I sat in a quiet conference room across from my lawyer, pen in hand. Final paperwork. Done in under 10 minutes. She got her car, some of the savings, and whatever was left in that Yoga Life bank account she used to hide spa charges. I kept the house. More importantly, I kept my peace. Chase's wife filed right after I called her. Quick, clean, brutal. Word got out that he'd used company money for the Denver trip. Corporate audit didn't just fire him, they buried him. His LinkedIn disappeared. No job, no reputation, gone. My ex? She moved in with Jenna, surprisingly. Guess Jenna forgave her faster than I thought. Or maybe she just needed help paying rent. Either way, not my business anymore. She's dating some guy from a coffee shop now. Mid-30s, into indie music and overpriced candles. I saw a photo of them online, her smiling like nothing happened. He doesn't know her history, yet. The yoga studio shut down last month. I heard through a buddy that clients stopped showing. Reputation's a hard thing to stretch back into shape once it snaps. A few weeks ago, Marcus called. Poker night's back on, he said. You sound like yourself again. I showed up with beer and a clean slate. Nobody asked questions, they just dealt cards and kept the jokes coming. That's the kind of loyalty you can't fake. Last night, I sat in the same recliner she once begged me to throw out. Glass of red in one hand, TV remote in the other. Lights low, quiet. And for the first time in over a year, I wasn't angry. I wasn't sad either. I was just done. The truth was out. The mask she wore, the stories she spun. It was all behind me. No more tracking calls, no more second-guessing every smile. Just life. Simple, undecorated, honest. Sometimes the best revenge isn't fireworks. It's sitting alone in the house she thought she could lie her way out of, realizing you don't miss her at all. Sometimes peace is the victory, and the clean comfort of a home that no longer echoes with lies, that's worth more than 19 years of pretending.